So good morning and welcome back. If you've been tuning into classes here at the Healthplex this week, we are glad to have you here on this Saturday morning. I've been doing a Monday stress relief yoga class, and we've added Saturday for those of you that might not be able to get away on Mondays at noon. So thanks for joining us this morning. So this is going to be a gentle class, some basic poses for yoga. So if you want to start here and then maybe add on a different class or a more advanced class, there are other offerings here at the Healthplex, a wide variety of yoga classes, as well as other opportunities to get a good workout in and meet some new people as well. Right now we're doing all of our classes live, so check the schedule when you have a chance and see what other opportunities are available this week. So we'll get started. I'm going to go through a few of the props that you might need if you're not a regular to my class. So some of the things that you might need today, we've got these in our room, the little knee pads. We will be on our knees for part of the class today. So if you need any extra cushion, the other thing you can always do is just fold your mat in half for that little bit of extra cushion if you have any knee issues. We will also be using a strap just for a few moments in class. So you can use one of the traditional straps or the other option, anything you've got around the house that's around the length of the legs, so a scarf, maybe even the strap off of your yoga bag. And then finally, if you have a block, it just adds extension. So just a block. If you don't have a block at home, you can always find a book or maybe even something from the cupboard that you can use for that block. And then I like to bring in something from nature. So I've just brought in some little grasses today just for that little vibe of relaxation and nature and all those things. So if you've got a scented candle or a diffuser or even a flower, some nice soothing music or a playlist that you enjoy listening to, you can add that now. The other thing finally is your mat. I've got two because I'll be switching directions just for demonstration. You only need one. If you don't have a mat, you can always use a beach towel or even just a rug that might be comfortable. So we'll get started. Once you've got all of those pieces gathered. So we're going to begin on our backs today. I'm going to cue the class standing, but I'm going to go ahead and have you get down on the back. So you can lie completely down with the legs extended out in front, or you can always bend those knees, just allowing that lower back to sink in the mat, whatever's comfortable for you at this point. We're going to take the first few minutes of class just to start focusing on that breath. So that's what makes yoga a little different than some of the other things you might do here in the building or other workouts, is combining that breath with the movement. So we're going to start focusing on that breath. So just take a few moments to get down on your mat, getting comfortable. And once you're down, we're just going to begin with that shoulder area. So opening up through the chest, rolling those shoulders down and away from the ears. The other thing may be opening the mouth a couple times. A lot of times we can hold that stress in that jaw area. So you're just opening the mouth a few times. Noticing if there's any tension or tightness in the jaw. And then finally, that lower half of the body from the waist down, just relaxing those legs, again, fully extending them on the mat or just bending those knees. Maybe closing the eyes. Just taking a few moments here just to tune in to that breath. It's been a long week. Just focusing on that breath, moving in and out through the nose, sealing off the lips if you can. And then from here, we're going to take one hand, placing it on the chest, one hand on the stomach. So just beginning to notice the movement of that breath moving in and out through the body. We get so busy in our day-to-day routines, rushing around, even though breathing is a natural thing that we do. Sometimes it's that hurried breath. So just noticing it now, gently coming in through the body, going out through the nose. And then finally, I'm going to take a few minutes really just to focus on that exhale. So taking a nice inhale, and then letting that exhale extend just a little longer than the inhale. That exhale is where that fresh oxygenated air gets pushed out to all those cells. So just taking a moment to notice the difference, that breath coming in, that breath going out. And then just coming back to that natural breath again, what the body does on its own, no effort, no counting. Just letting that body settle in, relaxing here on the mat. A few more moments before we get started. And then from here, we're going to bring those knees up into the chest. So I'm going to come down on my mat now. I'm just going to pull both knees up in to that chest area. You can take opposite hand to opposite elbow, or if that's not comfortable, you can always just take the hands below the knees, pulling those below the kneecaps, pulling those knees up and in, or maybe even using your strap. So I'm going to stay here for 3 rounds of breath. So a full breath is taking one inhale with that complete exhale. So when I say a round of breath, that's what I'm talking about. So we'll be here for 3 rounds of breath. So a nice inhale, exhale, release. 2 more just like that. Full inhale, exhale, release. Last one, full inhale, exhale, release. From here, I'm going to take the hands palm side down on top of the knees. We're going to take a few circles clockwise and counterclockwise on that lower back. So that little circular motion, again, if you do a lot of sitting or have been doing a lot of sitting or driving, sometimes that shows up in that lower back area. So taking a few moments here, just a little free massage for that lower back. And then we're going to move on to some hip openers. So we're going to drop that right foot down onto the mat. We're going to pick up that left leg. We're going to cross that left ankle over that right knee. From here, we're going to take our right hand, gently pressing it down onto that right hip. That left hand, we're going to just push that knee away from the body. So just a subtle little movement here. So picturing that left hip as a little clamshell, we're just gently opening it up, just a little release here. Again, tuning into that breath. From here, we're going to take that left knee to the outside of the rib cage, and then we're going to gently pull it up towards that left shoulder. We're going to hold here 3 rounds of breath. You can lock those fingers together. And then from here, we'll bring that knee into the chest. 3 rounds of breath here. So nice inhale, complete exhale. 2 more just like that. Full inhale, complete exhale. Last one, full inhale, complete exhale. We're going to drop that left foot down onto the mat now. We'll pick up that right leg, crossing that right ankle over that left knee. From here, we're going to take that left hand, pressing it into that left hip. That right hand is going to gently cross that right knee away from the body. Same thing on this side, just a gentle little release through that right hip. We'll take that right knee now to the outside of the rib cage, and we're going to gently pull it up towards that right shoulder. Again, bringing those fingers together, pointing that toe towards the top of your mat, holding that knee in place. 3 rounds of breath here. And then gently bringing that knee in front of the chest. Same thing. Holding that knee in, pointing that toe towards the top of the mat. 3 rounds of breath here. From here, we're going to bring that left knee up to meet the right, bringing both knees up into the chest. Just a little hug here. And then we'll take those hands to the back of the legs. We're going to rock and roll up and along that spine, coming up to our seated posture. So taking as many of these as feel comfortable on that back. And then we're going to come up to our seated posture. So just a few things with our seated posture. If you can crisscross applesauce with the legs, that's fine. Otherwise, get comfortable. The legs need to be out here. But I do want you to try to be up on those sitting bones, so not rolled down on that tailbone. I want you to try to think about rocking back and forth a few times. So you're lifting up, you're up on those sits bones. So from here, we're going to think about that navel. And a little shout out to Danielle if she is watching this morning. She is one of our choir directors, singers, who is always great with posture and reminding us about that breath and that open airway. So starting with that navel, we're going to lift up through the crown of the head, thinking about lifting here. We're going to open that chest, rolling those shoulders down away from the ears, and then finally that little tuck back of the chin. So we've got that nice alignment. You can take those hands down onto the knees. We're going to do 3 rounds of breath here. First time in our seated posture. So taking a nice inhale. Exhale, release. 2 more just like that. Full inhale. Exhale, release. Last one, nice inhale. Exhale, release. So after that 3rd round of breath, we're going to bring that chin down towards our chest. We're going to roll that right ear over to that right shoulder. We're going to gently come back through center. Left ear over to that left shoulder. So just a little rocking motion side to side. Again, if you do a lot of driving or sitting at the computer or even looking down at our phone, sometimes that neck can get a little kink in it. So just giving that neck a nice little release this morning. And then we're going to come back to center again. Checking in with that alignment, we're going to work our way down to the shoulders. So we're going to come up on an inhale, rolling those shoulders forward. Exhale, releasing. So inhale, coming up. Exhale, releasing forward. So getting in that those little nooks and crannies in that shoulder area. And then reverse the direction. So inhale, coming up. Exhale, opening up through that chest. Thinking about those shoulder blades sliding together and then sliding down the back. So bring those shoulder blades together, sliding them down the back. So again, if you're here a lot during the day, this is that counter movement to open up through the chest. Come back to our seated posture. I'm going to take those fingertips off to the sides of the mat. We're going to do 4 rounds of breath here. So we're going to bring those shoulders up on an inhale, close to the ears. On that exhale, we're going to release that breath out through the mouth, and I want to hear you all the way from home. So big inhale coming up. Exhale. 3 more, just like that. Big inhale up. Exhale out through the mouth. 2 more, big inhale. Exhale. Last one, big inhale up. Exhale out. And then just coming back to that natural breathing again, in and out through the nose. We're going to do a seated twist here, so always listen to your body. Only go as far as it feels comfortable for you. If you you've got any back issues, just checking in, making sure that everything feels comfortable. So again, always tuning into your own body during class. So we're going to take that right hand onto that left knee. I'm going to take that left arm back behind me like a kickstand. I'm going to take that gaze out past that left shoulder. Again, I'm keeping that torso lifted as I come into the seated twist. And then gently coming back through center, taking that recovery breath here, that gentle inhale and exhale. I'm going to take it to the opposite side. So the left hand on that right knee, I'm going to open up through that chest. That right arm becomes that kickstand. Still lifting up through the crown of the head, maybe taking that gaze out past that right shoulder. And then gently coming back through center, taking that recovery breath here. That nice inhale and exhale. I'm going to take those arms off to the side. On an inhale, we're going to reach those arms up overhead. On that exhale, imagining pulling that breath down into the chest. Big inhale coming out. Exhale, arms back to the side. We're going to do 3 more just like that. Big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, breath in. Big inhale out. Exhale, arms down to the side. 2 more. Big inhale up. Exhale, breath in. Big inhale out. Exhale, arms down to the side. Last one. Coming back to center. And here we're going to work down to the waist. We're going to do some little side movements. So we're going to take an inhale, bringing those arms up overhead. On that exhale, we're going to plant that left hand onto our mat. We're going to reach that right arm up and over that right ear. So I want you to think about that release from that hip out through those fingertips. So you've got that nice stretch through that right side body. We're going to gently come back through center, taking that recovery breath here, that gentle inhale and exhale. And then I'm going to take it to the other side. So big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, planting that right hand on the mat. We're going to reach that left arm up and over that left ear. Again, thinking about that hip out through those fingertips. We've got that nice stretch through that left side body. And then gently coming back through center, taking that recovery breath here, and checking that alignment. So from here, we're going to take those hands together, locking those fingers together, turning those palms out, just stretching those arms out in front, turning those palms back towards us. And then doing some little circles with those wrists before we set up for our cat-cow flow. So I always mention to my regular classes, cat-cow flow. It's a great way to start your morning. So here we are Saturday morning, getting started with that cat-cow flow. But if you want to keep your mat next to your bed, or just think about starting your day with the cat-cow flow, it's a nice little release for that back. So to get set up, we're going to have our knees about hip distance apart. Again, this is an opportunity if you've got knee pads or have any knee issues and want to slide those knee pads or that extra cushion under the knees. So that's one of the things I'm going to cue here. I'm going to come into a tabletop, so those knees hip distance apart. I'm going to press into those hands. And I always like to mention that you don't completely collapse on the wrist. So rather than here, coming back onto that meatier part of the hand. And then I like to cut my fingers, pressing into those finger pads. And then the other thing, not locking out through those elbows. So always having a little bit of give in those wrists, in those elbows. And then we're going to start from here. So we're going to drop that belly, opening up that chest on the inhale, gaze forward. Again, watching that neck that we don't overextend. On the exhale, we're going to round through that cat back. To get dropping that belly, inhale, opening. Exhale, rounding. Dropping that belly, inhale, opening through the chest. Exhale, rounding that back. So a few more at your own pace here. Think about moving that back from the base of the skull all the way down to the tailbone. That movement up and down the back. And then we're going to meet back in our tabletop, which is here. So we're going to start with that right arm. On an inhale, we're going to sweep that right arm up to the ceiling. On an exhale, we're going to thread that right arm underneath the left, bringing that right ear closer to our mat. Gently coming back through center, bringing that right hand back to our mat, checking in with the elbows and the wrists. We'll take it to the left side. So on that next big inhale, we're going to sweep that left arm up. Exhale, threading it underneath, bringing that left ear closer to the mat. And then from here, gently coming back through center, back to our tabletop. From here, we're going to go into sunbird. You have a couple options here. You can just work the legs or you can add in the arms. So again, always listen to your body, what's working for you today. So on an inhale, we're going to take that left leg back behind us, those toes pointing down towards the ground. We want to make sure that that leg isn't up here, but it's here. So think about leveling out through those hips. You can stay here, just working on that balance here, or you can add in that opposite arm, that thumb towards the ceiling. Focusing on that gentle breath in and out through the nose. And then bringing that hand and that knee back to the mat, taking that recovery breath here. We'll take it to the right side. So on that inhale, that right leg goes back, toes pointing down towards the ground, then checking in with those hips are leveled off. You can stay here today, or you can add that left arm, that thumb towards the ceiling. Tuning into that gentle breath in and out through the nose. And then bringing that hand and knee back to the mat, taking your recovery breath here. So the next one, we're going to do awkward airplane. If that's not comfortable for you, you can take the traditional sunbird that we just did. So on an inhale, that left leg is going to go back. That right arm is going to go out. You can stay here, or you can take that awkward airplane, taking it off to that diagonal, and then gently bringing everything back through center. That hand comes back, that knee comes back. Taking that recovery breath here. We'll go to the right side again. Big inhale, that right leg goes back. That left arm goes out. Taking it off to that diagonal or staying in the center, your choice. Gently coming back through center. That left hand comes back to the mat. That right knee comes to the mat. So last one, this time we're going to add a little deeper stretch. So as we take that inhale, that left leg goes back, that right arm goes out. We're going to send that heel back as we reach the fingertips and that opposite arm forward. So that cross body stretch, and then gently bringing that hand and knee back to the mat. Taking that nice recovery breath here. We'll go to that right side now. So that right leg goes back, that left arm goes out. Same thing, pressing that heel back, reaching those fingertips forward, and then gently coming back to center, taking that recovery breath here. So we're sliding into child's pose. So this is an opportunity where you might want to use your block. So having that nearby. We're going to separate those knees. We're going to shift those hips all the way back to the heels. We're going to reach those arms out in front, bringing that forehead closer to the mat. So here we are in child's pose. So a resting posture, tuning into that breath. If that's not comfortable on your body, you can always bring those knees closer together. You can use that block. or here, or even using those stacked fists just to rest on their forehead. So finding that place where you can be in that relaxing child's pose, coming back to that breath again. We're going to walk those hands over to that left side now. So getting that stretch through that right side body. Gently coming back through center. We're going to walk those hands over to the right side. Same thing, getting that stretch through that left side body now. And then gently coming back through center, coming back to our child's pose. Taking a couple rounds of breath here before we start our standing work. And then whenever you're ready, we'll come up to standing. So we'll skip our plank today, but tune in on Tuesday. We're going to move up to 3 planks. We've just been doing 1. We're going to do 3 of those on Tuesday. So join us on Tuesday. So today we're going to come back into our Monday, our standing mountain pose. So for mountain pose, I like to cue the feet about a hip distance apart. So a good way to check that is just turning that heel into that inside arch and then back out. I also like to pick up those toes and then spread them out and plant them back on my mat. So I've got that nice strong foundation in the feet. From here, thinking about pulling up from the knees to those hip bones, and then again, finding that navel, lifting up through the crown of the head, so that nice alignment, rolling that chest open, those shoulders down and away from the ears, and then finally, that little tuck back of the chin, so you're not putting that extra pressure, that extra weight from the head on that shoulder area. So everything is in that nice alignment. From here, we're going to take 3 rounds of breath in our standing mountain pose, a posture of strength. So 3 rounds of breath. After that 3rd round of breath, we're going to take a big inhale, reaching those arms up overhead. On that exhale, pulling that breath into the chest. Big inhale out. Exhale, arms down to the side. 2 more just like that. Big inhale up. Exhale, breath in. Big inhale out. Exhale, arms back to the side. Last one. Nice big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, breath in. Big inhale out. And then exhale, coming back to the side with those arms. From here, we're going to go into chair pose, so those feet can stay in that same hip distance apart. On an inhale, we're going to take those arms up overhead. On that exhale, we're going to sink back into that chair. So those hips sliding back onto that seat. You want to make sure that those shoulders stay down and away from the ears. Those hands parallel to one another. Again, tuned into that gentle breath in and out through the nose. And then on an inhale, coming back up, exhale, back to our mountain pose. 2 more just like that. Big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, sinking into that chair. Shoulders down and away from the ears. And then big inhale coming up. Exhale, arms down to the side. Last one. Big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, sinking back into that chair. Again, the shoulders slide down and away from the ears. Maybe even think about shifting that weight slightly into the heels, even picking up the toes. And then big inhale coming up. Exhale, arms down to the side. From here, we're going to step into our warrior 1. So we'll cue that on the left side first. So we're going to step back with that left foot. That left foot's going to come at a 45-degree angle, so 90, 45. So thinking about that foot at a 45-degree angle. Again, everybody is going to be a little different in this posture, so adjust that distance to what feels comfortable for you. So if that felt like too big of a step the first time, then shorten that distance. From here, we're going to think about gently rotating those hips forward. And then maybe pressing into the big toe on both feet. We want to feel that strong foundation. Maybe you stay here today, just working on that balance with the legs. So that back leg is our kickstand. The other thing I want to mention is that front knee has a little bend, but we don't want to be out over that big toe. We still want to be able to see that big toe. So maybe stay here, otherwise adding in those arms, opening up through that chest, maybe even taking that gaze up towards the ceiling. So warrior one, a posture of confidence and strength here, little heart opener. And I want to bring those hands back to the waist. We're going to step that left foot up to meet the right, coming right back into our mountain pose, both feet grounded on the mat. Taking that recovery breath or two here. And I want to move to that right side. So from here, we'll step our right foot back, same thing. Bringing that right foot back at that 45-degree angle. Also think about gently rolling the weight to the outer blade of that back foot. So our kickstand leg, again, adjusting that stance for what is comfortable for your body. Then that bend in that front knee, not overextending over that big toe. And then finally, just that gentle shift. Those hips pointing forward, those hip bones. And big inhale, reaching up or keeping those hands at the waist. Warrior two on that right side. Bringing those hands back to the waist, stepping that right foot up to meet the left, coming back to our standing mountain pose, taking a recovery breath or two here. We're going to do both sides one more time. So bringing those hands back to the waist, we'll take it to that left side again, stepping that left foot back. Checking our front knee, adjusting those hips. Strong kickstand in the back, maybe staying here. Or again, opening up through the chest, those arms up towards the ceiling. Warrior one on the left. And bringing those hands back to the waist, stepping that left foot up to meet the right. Coming right back into our strong mountain pose. Taking that recovery breath here. And then we're going to go to the right side again. So that right foot steps back. Kind of bend in that front knee. Those hip bones slightly tracking forward. And then again, either staying here or taking those arms up overhead. That gaze up towards the ceiling. Gentle, steady breath in and out through the nose. And then bringing those hands back to the waist, stepping that right foot up to meet the left. We're going to work on some forward folds today. So again, adjusting those feet, that hip distance coming into that mountain pose again, lifting up through the crown of the head. We're going to take a big inhale, reaching up overhead. Exhale that breath coming into the chest. Big inhale out. Exhale, we're going to swan dive forward. Again, those fingertips coming to the mat, the crown of the head falling towards the mat. This is another opportunity that you can always use your block, resting those hands on that block or the mat. Whatever feels comfortable for you. The other option here, maybe taking ragdoll, opposite hand to opposite elbow. If you want a deeper fold, you can even take that bind, those arms coming around the back of the legs, really hugging that chest in. We're going to release that bind. We're going to walk those hands forward, coming into downward dog. I'm going to turn sideways on my mat just so you can see, but you can stay where you are on your mat. So from that forward fold, we're going to walk those hands forward. We're going to walk those feet back. So that body is in that inverted V, checking in with the wrists and the elbows, making sure you're not locking out. So those heels press to the back of the mat, those fingertips reach forward, that tailbone lifts to the ceiling, feeling that stretch through the back of the legs, through that side body, and then finally that head, neck, and shoulders just hanging heavy here. And I'm going to gently walk those feet forward. I'm going to turn this way onto my mat, coming back into that forward fold again. So walking those feet forward, those fingertips grazing the mat, planting those feet on an inhale. We're going to swan dive up. Exhale, breath into that chest. Big inhale out, and then exhale, arms back to the side. From here, we're going to work on tree pose today. So Linda, we've got one of our students did a wedding this summer, and we were hoping she was going to send us a picture of herself in tree pose. And we're going to work on that today. So tree pose is a great balancing posture. I'm pulling the chair in if you've got a chair at home or even the wall, just to help with balance. I like to step off the mat and have my feet grounded onto the floor. So we're going to start with the right side first. So what you're going to do is think about a focal point out in front, something that's not moving. We're going to shift our weight into our right leg to begin. And then from here, maybe you just kickstand at that ankle today. You want to think about trying to keep those hips level. Or you can bring that foot into that calf. Or maybe even to that inner thigh. You just want to avoid that knee. So getting those legs set up first, that gaze forward, that chest is open. From here, if you feel grounded in those feet, maybe taking those hands into that heart center. And maybe even growing that tree today. So again, a little wobble is okay. If you come out of it, just go right back in. Again, we're all going to look different in this posture. Every tree outside is different, so same inside here in our classroom. And gently bringing those hands back to heart center, releasing that left foot down onto the floor, coming back into mountain pose for a moment, both feet grounded, lifting up through the crown of the head. Whatever happened on that side, it's over. So just letting that go now. We're going to shift to that left side. So I'm going to move the chair over to my left side. So make any adjustments. Again, if you're using the wall for a little extra stability today. So same thing, finding that focal point, something out in front that's not moving. We're going to shift the weight to that left leg now. We're going to pick up that right foot. Again, maybe it's right at the ankle. Maybe that inner calf. Or bringing it up to that inner thigh. So again, always avoiding that foot resting on the knee. So checking in that those hips are level here. And then maybe bringing those hands into that heart center. Maybe growing that tree today. Bringing those hands back through center. And then that right foot comes back to our floor or mat. Stepping right back into tree pose. Nice relaxing breath here. Big inhale. And exhale through the nose. I'm going to move the chair out of the way. We're going to come back onto our mat for staff pose. So we're going to come down onto the mat, taking our time to get there after that standing work. We're going to extend those legs out in front. So both legs extending out in front of us. Those feet flex towards the ceiling. Again, we're up on those sitting bones. So maybe rocking back and forth a few times, making sure you're off that tailbone. Those arms are going to come off to the side. You've got that nice alignment again up through the crown of the head. From here, we're going to take a nice big inhale, reaching those arms up overhead. On that exhale, we're going to extend up and out over those legs first, and then gently folding forward. I like to take this in 3 parts, not just forcing that body into that fold. The other thing I want to mention is keeping that little micro bend in the knees. And then each time you exhale, think about that distance between the forehead and the legs. Slowly getting closer with each exhale. So nice release through the back of the legs, through that lower back. And then we're going to extend those arms out in front, using that core strength. We're going to come up on an inhale. Exhale. Arms off to the side. We'll do 2 more just like that. Nice big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, extending out and over the legs first, and then gently folding forward. On that inhale, extending those arms, coming up, using that core strength. Exhale, hands off to the side. Our last one in stack pose. Nice big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, extending out over those legs, and then gently folding forward. Again, as you start in this forward fold, thinking about each exhale, that body, sinking a little deeper into that fold. We're going to extend those arms out in front on that inhale, coming up again. Exhale, arms off to the side. We're going to do that same fold on each leg individually this time. So we're going to keep that right leg extended. We're going to bring that left foot to the inside of that right thigh. So bringing that foot in. We're going to adjust that torso so it's slightly facing that right leg. We're going to take those arms off to the side. Big inhale, we're going to reach up overhead. Same thing on that exhale, we're going to extend out over that right leg and then gently fold forward. So never forcing that body to go where it's not ready to go yet. But just gently taking the time to come into those folds. And then from here, each exhale, letting that forehead get closer to that knee. So feeling this now, that little release in that left hip, that lower back. And then carefully extending those arms out. On that inhale, gently coming back up. Exhale, arms off to the side, and we're going to switch legs. So from here, that left leg goes out. We're going to bring that right foot into that left thigh now. So turning that torso towards that left leg, those arms coming off to the side, that inhale reaching up, that exhale extending out and over that leg first, and then gently folding forward. This time, that little bit of release in that lower back, that right side. With each exhale, that body coming a little deeper into that fold. And then carefully extending those arms out in front, coming up on that inhale, using that core strength. Exhale, arms off to the side. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together for that butterfly posture. So again, checking that you're up on those sitting bones, the soles of the feet coming together. Sitting up nice and tall again here. So thinking about lifting from that navel up through the crown of the head. That chest is open, shoulders down away from the ears. Using those hands, a little leverage here on those shins to open up through that chest a little deeper. So that nice seated butterfly. Focusing on that gentle breath in and out through the nose. And then from here, we're going to gently walk those fingertips forward. Again, just coming to your edge. Once you're there, bringing that forehead closer to those feet, so a little deeper hip opener here. And then finally walking those hands back to those knees, bringing those knees back together. We're going to take our legs up the wall. So again, this is where you can grab that strap or a scarf, whatever you've got handy. We're going to come all the way down onto our backs. I'm going to turn this way. So for my class, I don't do a shoulder stand or a headstand. We just send our legs up the wall. So at home, you can even prop your legs up on a wall or a chair. So for class, I'm just going to loop that strap around the bottom of my feet, making sure that the shoulder blades are open, that chest is open. It's opening up that space so that back feels comfortable on the mat, and then just sending those legs up towards the ceiling, using that strap. It's just a little extra leverage. Again, focusing on that gentle breath in and out through the nose. Each time you exhale, just picture that lower back pressing into the mat. Again, this is a great one to do at night before you go to bed, the end of your day, just propping those legs up on the side of the bed or a wall. And then from here, I'm going to drop that left foot out of my strap. I'm going to plant it on my mat. I'm going to take both pieces of that strap in my right hand. That left hand is going to gently press into that left hip. And I'm going to let that right leg fall off to the side. Again, just coming to your edge, using that strap for control, never overextending. That left hand keeps that left hip grounded on the mat. And then gently coming back through center. I'm going to release that strap. I'm going to pull that right knee up into the chest, taking one full round of breath here. And then I'm going to drop that right foot down onto the mat. Picking up that left leg this time, sending that left leg back up to the ceiling. Same thing on this side. That right hand is going to press into that right hip. I'm going to let that left leg gently fall off to the side, using that strap for control, not overextending, keeping that right hip grounded on the mat. Gently bringing that left leg back through center, releasing that strap over to the side now, hugging that left knee up into the chest. I'm going to bring that right knee up to meet that left. Opposite hand to opposite elbow again, or just taking those hands below those knees, pulling both knees up into the chest, pointing those toes towards the front of the mat, taking a full inhale here. On that exhale, letting that lower back press into the mat. Two more, just like that. From here, I'm going to release those hands. I'm going to drop my feet back down onto the mat. I'm going to turn sideways. We're going to set up for bridge pose. So for bridge pose, you can bring those heels a little closer to the glutes. You want to keep that neck neutral. You don't want to have that neck turning side to side for your bridge pose. And then those arms are going to come down onto the sides of the mat. Again, we're really using our leg strength here. Those arms are just there for that little added support. So from here, finding that big toe on each foot, we're going to press into the big toes. On an inhale, we're going to lift those pelvic bones up towards the ceiling. So those glutes are engaged, those inner and outer thighs are active. We'll focus on that gentle breath in and out through the nose. And then taking that inhale. On an exhale, we're going to slowly lower down one vertebra at a time, taking our time to come back down onto the mat. Once we're back on the mat, taking that gentle recovery breath here, that full inhale, and exhale through the nose. We'll do two more just like that. So on an inhale, lifting those pelvic bones up to the ceiling, keeping that neck neutral. Those glutes are active. And taking that inhale. On that exhale, slowly lowering down one vertebra at a time. And once you're back down on the mat, taking that recovery breath here. For this last one, if you want to take a bind, you can. You can bring those arms behind the back, taking that bind with the arms, shoving those shoulder blades together, maybe even coming up onto the balls of the feet. So that's just an option. You can also just come into that regular bridge pose that we just did. So for that last one, whenever you're ready, taking that inhale, bringing those hip bones up towards the ceiling. Again, maybe shifting those arms underneath and coming up onto the balls of the feet. That is an option here, or keeping that traditional bridge that we did on the last two. If you did take that bind, gently releasing those shoulders back to place, bringing those heels back to your mat, and then finally taking that inhale. On that exhale, slowly lowering down one vertebra at a time. Taking that recovery breath here. And then we're going to come into our recline twist. So again, if you've got any back issues, always listening to your back, only taking those twists as far as you feel comfortable. So I turn sideways on my mat just so you could see, but from here, we're going to take those arms off to the sides now, palms facing down. I'm going to shift my hips over to the right side of my mat. I'm going to let those knees fall off to the left side. Again, this is a place where you can slide that block underneath the knees if that feels more comfortable. And then from here, I'm going to pick up my gaze and gently take it to the right. So again, the hip shifted to the right side of the mat, knees to the left, and then I picked up that gaze and took it to the right. So focusing on that exhale here, just allowing that body to soften into that reclined twist. Those shoulders are down and away from the ears. And then we're going to gently shift back through center, being careful with our neck, bringing those legs back through center. This time we're going to shift those hips over to the left side of the mat. We're going to let those knees fall over to the right. Again, picking up that gaze and taking it to the left. Gently bringing those legs back through center. We're going to hug those knees up into the chest, and then we're going to finish up with that happy baby before we go into our final body scan and relaxation pose. So taking those peace fingers, grabbing for the big toe, the outer blade of the foot, or even the ankle. We want to think about those knees pulling in towards those armpits. So another opportunity for a hip opener here. At the end of the day, again, especially if you've been doing a lot of sitting this week, those hip openers are great. You can keep it here in that static pose, or you can even rock it side to side. And then I'm going to gently bring those knees back into that chest, hugging them in. We'll take a few more circles on that lower back. So turning those palms down on top of those knees, circling clockwise, counterclockwise. And then from here, we're going to send that left foot down to the left corner of our mat, that right foot down to the right corner of the mat. We're going to let those arms fall off to the side, palms facing up. I'm going to have you stay on your back on the mat. I'm going to come up to standing as I cue the rest of the class, the last few minutes. So again, making sure that you're comfortable on your back. Those arms are off to the side. We're going to start with the ankles. So just a few rotations here with those ankles, one direction and then the other. Just a little release after tree pose and then standing postures that we did today. And I'm going to flex those feet back towards the chest and then flexing those feet towards the front of your mat. So a little release on the bottom and top of the foot. And then we're just going to let those feet fall off to the corners of the mat. They've done the work today. We're going to gently work our way up that right leg, engaging that right glute for a moment, and then releasing. Same thing, working our way up that left leg, engaging that left glute for a moment, and then releasing. And then now just picturing that lower half of the body, relaxing and settling into your mat. So trying to make any final adjustments. You can just find that stillness now in the legs. We're going to come to that right side. So wiggling the fingers in that right hand, maybe rotating that wrist a few times. Picking up that right arm off the floor and then just allowing it to float back down. That right arm completely still now. So making any final adjustments, you don't have to move that arm. We're going to work our way across the chest down to the fingers in that left hand. So wiggling those fingers. Rotating that wrist a few times. And then finally picking that left arm up off the floor and then just allowing it to flow back down so that lower half of the body is relaxed, that chest is open, those arms are off to the side. We're going to work our way up to that jaw area. So opening up that jaw a couple times, just a little release here. That big ah that we do in class. And then sealing those lips off again, focusing on that breath in and out through the nose. We're going to relax all the muscles in the face. If you have an eye pillow at home and you want to just gently place that across the eyes now, you can do that. And then thinking about that area between the eyebrows, the forehead, any tension or tightness that's still there, just picturing that rolling off that forehead onto the sides of the face, down onto your mat, off away from the body. So I'm going to give you the next minute just to settle in here, just that little moment of silence, just appreciating the fact that you got up and did some yoga today, gave that body a nice little stretch. Just tuning into your own breath for the next few seconds. And then we're going to gently bring a little bit back into the body. So wiggling those fingers, wiggling those toes. On an inhale, we're going to reach those arms up overhead. Again, still on the mat. On that exhale, bring those arms back to the side. Two more just like that. Big inhale, stretching out. All that space we created today. Exhale, bringing those arms back to the side. Last one, big inhale. And then exhale, arms coming back to the side. Just rolling onto that left side for a moment. And then whenever you're ready, taking that top arm, we're going to push up to our seated posture, finishing up here with 3 rounds of breath in that seated posture. So taking your time to get there. Up on those sitting bones again. Finding that navel. Pulling up through the crown of the head, that chest opens, those shoulders down away from the ears, those hands coming onto the knees. We're going to tuck that chin back in to the chest. We're going to finish up here, 3 rounds of breath. Again, just a gentle inhale through the nose, gentle exhale out through the nose. And then after that 3rd round of breath, just bringing those hands into that heart center, into that chest, thanking yourself for showing up this morning, doing something good for you and your body. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Check the schedule of classes for the rest of the week, and we hope you're doing well and have a great weekend. Thanks so much.